Okay, so it was almost as if the market was listening to the last video I did because it traded inside the balance area the entire day. So this is perfect because I gave you a preview of what I'm going to talk about today, which all of you should have done. So we can get into all kinds of different strategies. We can bring in all kinds of different indicators and all kinds of different tools, but my opinion after 25 years doing this, I think you should just keep it simple. But in the same breath, I will say that if you do use things that you like, then use them. My opinion with trading is that you have to gravitate towards what makes you money, period. So just because someone's using a tool that's working for them, it doesn't mean that if you use the same tool, it'll work the exact same way for you. You have to settle on whatever makes sense for you. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't implement something new and practice, which I would encourage all of you to do, regardless of how long you've been doing this. Trade balance is something that, in my opinion, I think everyone should use because it reveals so much about what the market's doing and where it's going. So, what we'll do is we'll just continue our same conversation that we had in the prior video. And what we'll do is we'll talk about really two things here. So, first of all, I had mentioned in the prior video that as soon as support is found, and if and when that's broken, and if and when price travels back to that area on the flip side, we want to get in on that trade. So we had initial support at the low of the first 30-minute segment at 2901.25. By the way, this is the ES. We clearly had a break, very strong break, and we clearly rose to the tick to 2901.25, and we peaked on that rundown at 5.75. Okay, so 5.5 points of movement, you should have been able to get some of that. So we can make this whole job a lot easier for ourselves if we use that Fibonacci tool. And remember, we just go up here to this little pencil, the drawing tool, we come down to Fibonacci retracement, or you can hit F8. And because we went down and we're heading back up, we want to see where are the most probable prices or areas, as I like to reference it, where the market's going to pause and potentially reverse, because this will reveal additional trades for us. Okay, so we already have this area right here, right? So we're going to short that. So if we go here at the high and we come down here, and remember we want to come all the way out so that we can get those lines to extend. So if we look at this, what do we got? Well, we've hit this low down here. So we have this 23.6 retracement. This is a percentage of retracement that we can take. Okay, now also, these are not just entries. These can also be places to take profit. So if you're long for whatever reason down here, maybe a double bottom or whatever excuse you made to get long here, or maybe this was a retest for you at the low, then maybe consider taking profit here. We can also go short here. Same thing for all of these prices, okay? Now we're gonna leave this until we've broken beyond the balance area, which never happened today. Okay, so this would be the 2%, right? So what that means is that this percentage here of markets that stay in the balance area during the RTH is 2% of the time. And what does that mean? We'll talk about that last. It means that there's a 98% chance of extension, and because this is futures, that will most likely happen during Globex. It's possible that it won't, but we want to watch for that, those of you that trade after hours. So continuing, we can get short here, we can get out here, we can get long here. So basically, we're going to use this to trade back and forth until we have a run in one direction or another. Okay, so we can try shorting here. Obviously, it went to the next one, so we can short here, break even on that position, take profit on this position, and it just keeps going back and forth, testing these levels, and we finally make it to the 76% retracement, and that was, the biggest run of the day. But there's absolutely no reason why you should have lost a penny today. You should have made a lot of money today because you had this tool in advance, and I gave you a little sneak peek on what you could do very simply, adding this Fibonacci retracement. These show precise entries and exits. and you could have traded any of this or all of it and made very good trades, even though today was not a big movement day. We had some nice movement, but the market just didn't run. It just sat in this zone for the entire session. So remember, keep it simple. That's really it. There's really not a lot more to it than that. So let's look at extension. So what we want to do is get rid of this since we've already used this. So I want to make sure my charts are such that I can see that. So as of right now, so we're a couple hours into Globex, 2.5 actually. It's not moving yet. So as far as extension, I can't talk about that until we have movement. But what we want to do, even though it's Globex, we want to watch for the initial fake. So if we come down here, we want to watch for that initial fake. Now, if we have a pickup in volume and it's running hard, then we can take trades in that direction. I'm not going to talk about taking trades in Globex. I want to keep this video very concise to today. But conversely, with extension, we want to look for price to move above this 14.5 level. And then again, we want to watch for the fake and then take trades in that direction if we have strength. Okay, so most likely, if we look at the history of the market, we should have nearly 100% chance of extension beyond either the low or the high. Now, obviously, there's some tools that we can use to gauge which one is most likely, but today we're just sticking with the trade balance. What these videos are about. Those of you that have the Pro Suite, what you're gonna want to look at actually is the key turns, because that will tell you if we're above or below it, which direction to trade in. And I will mention this last comment. So on days where we do have extension, what do we do in the balance area on those days? In other words, if we were to have had extension beyond down here or up here, what do we do in this zone? Well, what we do is we do the exact same thing that I just showed you. We're going to look for those prices, or those of you that use my prediction point levels, we're going to use those prices, and those will give us preemptive entries and exits based upon the way that we use those. So just keep it simple, use what works for you and what makes the most sense, but using these two elements, you should have been able to extract quite a bit out of the market today. Okay, that's a wrap, and we will continue this in the next video.